Hello, this is Ollie's Movie Madness, and I'm going to be doing a movie review of Capone. This movie, if I could sum it up in a couple words, it's stupid, it's dumb as fuck, but it's funny. This movie is so bad, so weird, to the point that it's one of the funniest movies of 2020. The storyline is pretty easy to follow. It's just the life of Al Capone. That's it. That's the entire storyline. But let's get into the performances, which the performances, surprisingly, they're really bad, but they are so hilariously stupid. Tom Hardy, great actor, really good actor. I like him as Bane in the Dark Knight trilogy. I liked him in the movie Locke. I liked him in Mad Max Fury Road. Here, I don't know what the fuck he's trying to do. He plays Capone in this movie, and his performance is really weird. It's one of the dumbest, but one of the more hilariously bad performances that Tom Hardy has ever done, because his Italian accent is so weird as fuck. It's weird, it's bizarre, and he doesn't even sound Italian. He sounds like Dave DeVito's Penguin, and it feels like Tom Hardy was probably high while doing this movie. He's high as fuck, and the character of Al Capone is even dumber, but surprisingly hilarious, because he had a weird obsession with the Wizard of Oz. There's a lot. He yells a lot. He does drugs. He's just a weirdo, and the scene where he's like dancing with the cowardly lion is so fucking stupid. It's so weird as well, because like he has a weird obsession with the Wizard of Oz. It's so hilariously bad. Linda Cardellini, who plays his wife, is so fucking stupid, but her performance is also really funny. There's a scene where she and her husband are screaming at each other. It's supposed to be a very serious moment, but the movie is so terrible, but so funny to the point that you can't take it seriously. But you can't help but fucking laugh at it because of how stupid it is. And the romance between the two leads in this film is so ridiculous. Again, it feels like Tom Hardy's high as fuck. Well, Linda Cardellini is trying to, I guess, hit her head against the wall. I guess so. I guess that's her performance throughout the whole movie. Matt Dillon, who plays John, Al Capone's right-hand man, and his performance is also, much like Tom Hardy's, fucking ridiculous. It is so laughably stupid. Now, Matt Dillon's a good actor. I liked him in The Outsiders, but here, I couldn't help but laugh and make fun of him because his performance, again, is so dumb as fuck, but it's so funny. And the character of Johnny, he just screams a lot. There's this really weird scene where him and Al Capone just scream at one another, like they have this argument. It's supposed to be taken seriously, but you can't take it seriously because of how fucking horrible the dialogue is between the two characters. Again, it's so bizarre. The Italian accent that Matt Dillon puts on is also weird. It's just from Italian to an American accent, like his normal speaking voice. But just the scene of them screaming at one another, I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, okay, are you his right-hand man or the guy trying to get his fucking groceries and gets kicked out of the grocery store? That is the way I can sum up Johnny as a character. But the worst thing about this movie is Josh Trank's directing. Look, we all know that Chronicle was the only good fucking movie he directed. We all know how bad the Fantastic Four movie was from 2015. And this movie is surprisingly not as bad, but it's actually worse, because what he tried to do, he essentially turns Al Capone into a fucking clown. He makes Al Capone a fucking clown in this movie because of all the fucking weird stuff. Again, the Wizard of Oz joke, him saying like Danny DeVito's Penguin, that is all Josh Trank's fault, but surprisingly he does try to get stuff accurate, but he just makes it all exaggerated and crazy to the point that you can't help but laugh at him because of how bad the dialogue and the screenplay and his directing is. So overall, I think Josh Trank did a really horrible job, a laughably horrible job of directing this film. Again, the idea of an Al Capone movie could work if you had a better actor and a better director. If you wanted to cast someone as Al Capone, here you go. Here's your first choice, fucking Al Pacino. That makes a lot more logical sense because that actor, I believe, is Italian. I think, yeah, Pacino is an Italian name, so that makes a lot more logical sense. But the fact that they casted Bane, aka Tom Hardy, is so ridiculous. The fact that they cast him as Al Capone is just so ridiculous, but so funny. So in conclusion, this movie is terrible because the storyline is really boring, the dialogue is horrible, the cinematography looks like shit, but at the same time, it's so fucking hilarious. It's funny. It's so hilariously stupid that you can't help but laugh at it. Again, Tom Hardy's Italian accent is so laughably stupid to the point that it is hilarious. This movie is up there with Speed 2 Cruise Control as one of the best, worst films ever made. Oh, and by the way, if you thought the scene where Green Goblin is like fucking sunbathing with leeches on his chest, that is not as stupid as what Tom Hardy does in this movie. What Bane does in this movie, I kid you not, he shits his pants. Like 2 or 3 times he shits his pants, and it's fucking funny. It's ridiculous. It's like, okay, so is Al Capone is Al Capone awful at going to the bathroom? Is that the joke they're trying to do? Because they kind of succeed in that. Now, objectively, this does get a 1 out of 10. I hate this movie. When you compare it to Goodfellas, this movie is a piece of shit. But because of how bad the acting is and how horrible the dialogue is, but how how funny everything is, this movie gets a 10 out of 10. It is one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies of 2020. And it's probably up there with Deadfall as one of my favorite guilty pleasures of all time. So that is my review of Capone. Hope you guys enjoyed.